Alpine A110 review. What is it? It's the Alpine A110. And in case you hadn't heard by now, it's something very different. On the surface it's perfectly straightforward, a compact two-seat coupe in the mold of the Porsche Cayman and Audi TT. But underneath the A110 is perhaps the world's best example of the virtuous circle approach to automotive engineering. Why is that then? It's light. Really light. Lotus light, yet with the creature comforts you need to make it a pleasing daily driver. How light? Circa 1,100 kilograms depending on which of three versions you choose. That's 300 kilograms, approaching 25% less than the Porsche or Audi. The upcoming Lotus Emira has some properly tough competition. So, how did Alpine get to that featherweight figure? Firstly by designing the A110 from the ground up with little carryover, and secondly by sweating the small things. So it's an aluminium-bodied, aluminium-chassis, aluminium-suspended sports car that has a modest 1.8-litre turbocharged four-cylinder engine. Depending on whether you go for the base A110 or the sportier A110S and A110 GT, it develops either 248 brake horsepower or 296 brake horsepower. The base car gets 236 pounds-feet, the GT and S now 250 pounds-feet, boasting a 0 to 62 miles per hour time in the low 4s. What else do I need to know first? The engine is mounted behind the seats and drives the rear wheels via a 7-speed get-rag double-clutch gearbox, perhaps the only thing about the car that's not the lightest possible option. We have tried to follow Colin Chapman's principle, which is still valid, so if we have low mass, we can have moderate power, so we don't need super wide tires or big, heavy brakes and so on, says Alpine's chassis technical leader, Thierry Anquin. We have chased all grams everywhere on each component and each system to achieve this weight. Everywhere you look you see this attention to detail. Take the rear wheel, there's no secondary brake caliper for the electric parking brake, EPP, it's now integrated into the primary brake itself. That saves 2.5 kilograms. And getting Brembo to integrate their software into the Bosch ECU instead of bolting on a separate control unit and wiring has saved another kilo. And the brackets that hold the EPP cables and hoses are aluminium too. This is unusual, claims Anquin, but it saves 7 grams here, 12 grams there, and it adds up. The Sable seat is a mere 13.1 kilograms, half the weight of the Recaro seat in the current Megane RS. Integrating the ball joint into the upper control arm instead of putting it in a separate housing saves 300 G per corner, and so it goes on. The message from Alpine, building its first car since the final A610 rolled out the deep gates 22 years ago, is that lightweight matters. Jean Riedel, the man who founded Alpine in 1955 and named it for the type of driving he wanted his cars to excel at, would be proud. What are the latest updates? For 2022, Alpine has revised the A110 lineup in anticipation of that new Lotus coming to eat into its 2,100 annual sales.